Thanks, church. I'm super excited because I get to share with you guys strengthening your evangelism. And I'm really excited because this is something I definitely want to strengthen in 2018. But when I was looking up strengthening, another definition is to animate. And when I think of something being animated, I think of it being brought back to life, right? And I was like, what is the best example of something being brought back to life? And that's God bringing Jesus back to life, right? So I want to help you guys bring your evangelism back to life. So if you go to Genesis 6 in verse 5, the first is Jesus had a motive. So in Genesis 6:5, it says, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart were evil all the time. So this is incredible. God looked down on earth, and he saw how evil we were and we are, right? But God's heart wasn't to be like, well, I hope someone saves them, or I hope they get it together. God saw that there was a need and that he had to fulfill it, right? So we're all aware of how evil the world is. You turn on the news, you see it in the government, you see it in society, you see it in your coworkers, you see it in your family, and you even see it in yourself. And the issue isn't that we're ignorant of the evil, is I think we've really become numb to it. And so hoping your friends and family will become disciples isn't going to change it. Or hoping those around you are going to automatically fix something isn't going to fix them. But seeing that you have a personal part in saving the people is what's going to help them. So you have to have the motive. When you look down, have the heart of God. Don't just see the people being troubled, but see that you have a place to change it. The second part is that Jesus had a plan and he was willing to die for it. If you go to Colossians 1 in verse 24,
Come on, babe.
it says, now I rejoice in what was suffered for you, and I fill up in my flesh what is lacking in regard of Christ's afflictions for the sake of his body, which is the church. I have become its servant by this commission that God gave me to present you towards God in its fullness. And so obviously Jesus, when he died for us, it was the perfect atonement. Nothing was missing. But what Paul here was talking about that was missing was that us willing to suffer for Jesus Christ. Because when he died, it was the perfect message, the perfect gospel. But what was needed was people to spread that gospel. And it reminds me of this movie, The Last Song. It's a really good movie. It's Nicholas Spark. But her dad gets sick and he passes away. But while he was alive, he was working on the stained glass window for the church. And that was his motive. This is something he wanted to see complete. And so when her dad passed away, her only mission was to rebuild this window, right? And so that was her way to show her dad that he remembered what was important to him was by rebuilding this window. And that's how we show God that we remember what was important to him, by spreading the gospel. And so having that same motive. And the last point is Jesus loved follow-up. And so part of evangelism is not just meeting the person, but it's following up with them. When Jesus resurrected, he preached about the kingdom for 40 days because it was still on his heart. So even when we follow up with people, we have to have it on our heart to follow and talk to them and make it a priority to make sure these people understand the truth. So have a motive, be willing to die for it, and follow up with it. Thank you.